Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. So what are the bare minimum things you can do to extend the life of your Toyota Tacoma? You know, it's amazing to me some of the comments I get, some of the folks that don't do any of this stuff. It's so simple. But yet I do hear complaints out there of people stating they're having problems with their trucks, there's issues. It's crazy to me, people that don't do these things. So we're gonna run through real quick. I'm gonna show you guys what the bare minimum things are that you can do to extend the life of your Tacoma, to have a trouble-free driving experience. Okay, other than looking at the tires every once in a while, and you do need to check that. I did a little short recently on the wear bars in your tires, just to take a quick look. Obviously, a good driving experience is not having to change tires or having blowouts because you have issues. But the most important area, of course, is under the hood. Pop that thing and take a look under here. It's not scary. You're not going to do anything that's going to cause any problems. Now, the biggest thing we're going to get to at the end. But in the meantime, check your fluids. Over here, you've got the windshield wiper fluid. Ever been anywhere, maybe it's really buggy or dusty or even muddy, and hit that button, that switch, the stalk inside the cab to clean your windows off and nothing comes out because you haven't checked this, you've let it run down, you have no windshield wiper fluid. Very simple thing to add. Pop the top, pour it in, you can get it anywhere. Every gas station and Walmart and even grocery stores carry that stuff. Now, one thing I would recommend is use real windshield wiper fluid as opposed to water. Water can freeze. If you live in a climate that's maybe cold, gets below freezing, obviously if that thing's full of water, you're not going to get anything out of it, and it can swell and bust it so that it then leaks, right? Use fluid, much better idea. Next up, power steering fluid, right down here. Take a look in there. You can see the level. I don't know if my camera picks it up. Just make sure it's full. Very simple to do. Chances are, unless you have a problem, you're never going to have any issues there. Radiator overflow. Check here. Make sure that you've got fluid in there. You can see maybe the line right down here. Simple to do. Again, unless you have an issue, that's a closed system, you really shouldn't have any troubles. Moving on. Brake fluid, right up here. Make sure you check the line, see that it's full so that you don't have any issues. It's actually right here on mine. Again, something you shouldn't have any problems with, but it's a good way to kind of gauge brake wear, because as the pads wear down, more fluid is going to have to be in the system. You're going to see that level drop. So if you notice that it is going down, you may have some brake problems or a leak altogether. That's something completely separate. Otherwise, you should never have to touch that either. Take a look at the battery. Make sure you don't have any corrosion anywhere. Lift up the positive side. Again, you can't damage anything. Just make sure you're not touching this and touching something else at the same time. You might get a shock. So just grab the rubber part, make sure there's no corrosion and stuff around there. If there is, and you're comfortable with it, a wire brush will take it off. There are chemicals that will do it as well. Or you'll know when you take it in for service what to alert the service tech for so that that gets cleaned off. And it's pretty easy to see if they actually did it. Pop that yourself when it's done in the parking lot. Takes 2 seconds. It should be clean. Now, over here on the left, and mine is set up a little bit differently, check your filter. This is how your engine breathes. You want to make sure that your air filter is clean, that it's not gunked with all kinds of stuff. If it is, replace it. Mine is very easy to check because it's exposed. It's an open intake. If you've got the stock closed cold air intake, pop the lid, take a look. It's a square filter. Again, pretty darn simple to replace. Lastly, the most important thing to check of all, and this is probably the big determiner as to how long your truck is going to last. You're not going to have any problems early on, but if you're in it for the long haul, this is most likely the most important thing you can check and keep clean, and that is engine oil. You know, I did a video recently talking about following the manual, 5,000, 10,000 miles. Got a lot of feedback on that. A lot of people do it at 1,000. Some people do it at 1,500. I think that's a bit overkill, but depends on how you use the truck, I suppose. If it's got tons of miles on it, and you put tons of miles on it, and you're in very dusty conditions, might not be a bad idea to do it at 3,000 miles. I still think 1,500 is a little bit crazy, but hey, it's your truck, do what you want. This is simple to check. Make sure that the engine oil level is correct. Grab yourself a cloth, a rag, something, anything old that you can wipe the dipstick off on. Pull out the stick and take a look, and we're going to do that now. Again, very simple to do. Grab it with the rag, pull it out. You're going to wipe it off unless it's been sitting level for a long period of time. On mine in particular, it's been in the garage for a bit. The mark looks to be right here. That, of course, is above the two little divots or holes that you can see here. Not ideal. You really don't want to be above those two lines. Maybe it's just splashed up when I brought it in. Let's take another look here. Always wipe it off, insert it back in all the way. Now it should be in the oil, obviously. You want to pull it back out carefully, and don't wipe it off this time because you want to look at it. And then take a peek, see where it is. And on mine, it does appear to be still just a little bit high. Is that a big deal? I don't know. Everything I've always read says that you should not have it high. It should always be in the range between the two dots, if you will. In other words, not over full. I don't know. Depends. This truck has never been changed. It's come from the factory that way. So that's how they do it. I don't think that's a big deal. It's certainly nothing I'm going to worry about. However, if I was changing the oil myself, I would make sure that that line or that level was in between the two dots so that it's not over full at all. Again, I've read and seen a lot about that. It goes above the parts in the engine. It can bubble, cause problems. I don't know. I would make sure that it's in between if you're doing it yourself. Again, I don't think it's a big deal. So if you run out and check yours and it's above, don't panic. I'm sure it's okay. Anyway, those are just a few things that you can check to extend the life of your Toyota Tacoma. Make sure that you're trouble-free, don't have any problems. Takes 5 minutes to do, and that's it. Very simple. And if you see anything that's wrong under here when you're doing that, at least when you go to the dealership or wherever you have your truck serviced, you'll know what to alert them to when you go in. After all, depending on a human to find something that may be wrong when you could have just alerted them yourself, why wouldn't you do that just to make sure everything is okay? Anyway, I just wanted to get on, kind of take a quick look. These are simple things you can do to extend the life of your Tacoma, make it a much more pleasant driving experience, and that you're not going to be stranded on the road because of something crazy or have a filthy, dirty windshield because you let yourself run out of fluid. Leave a comment. Let me know. Do you run out once in a while and take a look underneath the hood of your Toyota Tacoma? Or do you depend solely on wherever you take it for service for them to catch it? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.